Welcome to the 2012 series of Complete Cricket Masterclasses. The focus for this year's courses is 2020 cricket. Today we're here with Warwickshire's Neil Carter for a pace bowling masterclass. Hope you enjoy the videos and get some useful information out of it.
When 2020 started and a few years ago, if you had a slow ball, that was good. Now, having one slow ball is okay. I think a lot of batsmen these days, if they know your slow ball, they know what's coming, then they can see it. So a lot of guys now have more than one slow ball. I know a couple of guys have 3 or 4 slow balls, which I think is key. So we're going to go through a few slow ball options, not just 1 or 2. And because with that, I think you guys can take it away and practice. And like you've been doing, you can just stand here, and we will start doing that. You can just stand there and just start practicing. So like every time you're at home, you've got a wall and got a ball, you can just stand and get your wrists in positions, and we can bowl all different kinds of balls. So that by the time you can practice that, by the time you can get into a net, and you can hone your skills and get the ball to land in the right area. Because if you can rock up and bowl 3 slow balls at different times, in 20 games, then like I said, it's variation, and batsmen won't know what's coming. Right, first what we're going to start off with is pretty much like an off spinner. So obviously most of you holding the ball seam up, and we just have our normal delivery going through. I think this one is pretty much, you can keep it exactly the same, your hands on the seam. There's no need to bowl cross seam like a spinner does. So it's pretty much the same grip as you would as you're running into bowl a normal seamer. But it's just getting through action. The last minute, you're just going to roll your wrist over it. So instead of, if you all look at me here, instead of coming down straight like you would, you just come up and then you just turn your wrist sideways. So like, it comes out like an off spinner. So the point about this, guys, is that just remember, you're not running up to bowl a spinner. You're running up with your normal pace and your normal action. Just by twisting your wrist at the end will automatically slow the ball down. So the key about that is your whole action will be exactly the same pace, with just your wrist, and that will slow the ball down and confuse the batsman. And then also because it's only a slight wrist changing position, then a lot of the batsmen won't be able to see that and only realise later they have to adjust. So I'll just bowl 1 or 2 down here. You guys just want to come around a moment. So I'll do the normal one again. Same, going straight down. And now we're changing. So everything's exactly the same. Everything's exactly the same, just there. You see how the seam changes? And it just slows down. Everyone get that? Any questions we can find here? See the following equipment. Cool. And again, so everything's exactly the same. Exactly the same. I'm just going to change it literally right at the end there. So we're there, and then there. Yes, that's it. Ah, you see. Okay. Yes. No. You still went the other way. So just think of that. Really attack.
That's the leg one, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, it's the leg one as well. Okay. Now just got to keep it thinking.
So once you get here,
Twist away from it. Yes, that's it. And again.
So towards the inside rather than around the back.
Yes, there we go. Okay, keep practicing that. Focus on it. If you just stand still in that position, just go there. Stand that position. Yeah, like that.
That understanding right, that's the key. Get the understanding of how the ball comes out. You're not changing your action, you're just using your wrist.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's key. I think especially as a young kid, your natural ability is when you put a ball in your hand, and you take your hand back, naturally it's going to go like this. It's going to go there, and naturally the ball's going to come out there, which is like a lot of you are doing. I was just seeing, I think you were doing it now, you were just going around like this, and naturally the ball was coming. I think to understand is it's pretty much just getting your hand and wrist in the right position, that when you go back, that you are going to actually turn your actual hand and arm. It's not a question coming around. I think it's key is you've got to get that wrist turned. Naturally, when you hold a ball, everyone holds a ball like this in this position. And when you take your arm back, you take it back straight, and it automatically goes in that position. So the key is just go back and you actually have to turn your arm out. Going back, turn your arm out to be able to get it over, and that way you can bowl the so-called offie where your hand turns out. Right hand, pull it back there. Don't just pull it back straight where naturally the ball's going to come out that way. So come back and twist so this part of your elbow faces outwards, gets out there. So your arm can come over and then you can twist it out. Especially for all you left-handers, this is very important for all you guys, especially because most of the time you're bowling to right-handers. Okay, I know there's a lot of left-handers about, but a lot of the time you're bowling to right-handers, and that's key. If you can bowl this, that's very much key because the ball's going to be turning away from a right-handed batter, and it's a lot harder for them to hit. The ball turning away, the guy's going to try and slog you, and it's going to turn away and get an edge and go up in the air.
Yes, indeed. Oh, I love that.
Go and practice this day in and day out, or you just stand in front of a mirror and just watch your hands go. Your arm and hands, and just watch your wrists go. For the so-called offie, and then for the leg cutter. So it's just a question, this little tinkers at the end there, you just progress from there into like bowling against a wall in your back garden. You do that, and just whenever you've got spare time. Loads of you guys are so clever here at school that you can take half an hour to do your homework, and you have the rest of the evening free. So just stand there in front of the wall and just throw a tennis ball. Just practice with the wrists, and that's how you become better.
In terms of a change of pace, how much pace do you drop from a slow ball, from a off cutter more so?
And the more pulling the wrist, obviously the more bite and turn you're going to get, and obviously the more pace off the ball you're going to get. Where a lot of you come and just slide your fingers off slowly, that's pretty much, you're not going to get as much turn and as much pace off. So the more rip you can get through the ball, the less pace you're going to have on it, and the more variation will be at the other end for the batsman. And same as doing the other one. A lot of guys come in and they've got just a slight pull of the fingers and inwards. In that case, the ball's just going to slow down a little bit. But a lot of guys come over and they roll their fingers off big time. In that case, obviously fingers come right off, the pace of the ball is going to slow down a lot more. So you will see in how you feel, your offie slow, your fingers don't come off that much. So they will slow down a little bit, but not as much as if you really cut, really cut it. And that way the ball will spin more sideways and slow down, obviously going into momentum taking it forward. The real good guys are just that to see the batsmen are guys that change is very late in their action. So they get there and right at the end they just turn their wrist. Instead of really turning their whole hand and arm, they just turn their wrist, but they turn their wrist a lot, but right at the end.